If you love this land of the free, bring 'em home, bring 'em home. Bring 'em back from overseas. Bring 'em home, bring 'em home.
The Constitution of the United States is being mocked, ruined, and shredded. We who served our country once are called back to service by our oath we took those years ago. Today we are going to reaffirm our commitment to that oath to defend the Constitution even with our lives. We are also going to talk about the violations of that Constitution that are occurring today in this country. The enemies today against our Constitution are domestic.
Yeah!
Yeah!
With that, I'd like to introduce Colonel Ann Wright, Colonel in the Armed Forces, Ambassador, and great ambassador, is that? Deputy Ambassador, but a great ambassador for our concerns. Colonel Ann Wright.
Thank you, Elliot. Yeah, it's a very important day to be right here standing at the west side of the Capitol where we are going to be pushing these congressmen and women to change a lot of things that have been going on in the last 6 years. We've got a lot of things that have directly affected the United States military, a military that actually now is pretty well on its knees because of the abuse of the Bush administration and the use of it in Afghanistan and particularly in Iraq, of going into a country. First, we shouldn't have gone into a war crime to go into that thing, and then the military plans and preparation were atrocious. We've now got men and women who have redeployed back to Iraq and Afghanistan 4 and 5 times. We've got a military that was forced by the administration of the United States to violate the Geneva Conventions, to violate the prisoner of war statutes that actually protect our own servicemen and women. The Bush administration has tortured not only people, but have tortured ideals. And our U.S. military is suffering because of what has happened. We that are standing here are going to say that we will swear the oath to our Constitution, not to a commander-in-chief who is ordering the destruction, truly, of our military. And to lead us in that, I'd like to introduce the Executive Director of the Veterans for Peace, a man who has a son who is in the military right now and who himself has served as a captain in the U.S. Army, Michael McPherson.
Thank you. Well, we're here today, as has been said, to reaffirm our commitment to defend and support the Constitution. Unfortunately, even though the President himself has taken an oath twice as an officer when he served in the military and as Commander-in-Chief to defend the Constitution, he is not doing that. In fact, he is shredding the Constitution. He doesn't respect the Constitution whatsoever. And he's asking men and women to go die, he says, in defense of our country. And I wonder what exactly it is that they're defending. Now, yes, we all want safety, but our country is not just about our safety. Our country is about our way of life, and our way of life is not to buy new cars. Our way of life is not to have VCRs, not to watch movies. Our way of life as Americans is our Constitution. I mean, people all over the world live in a similar fashion that we do, but what's supposed to make this country special is our rights. And when you do not live up and defend the rights, then you destroy the country. A perfect example is, as Colonel Wright said, torture. That goes totally against the grain of what the United States is about, because we believe in individualism and the sanctity of life. And this administration has promoted and used torture, and then at the same time says that he's defending our way of life. I don't understand that. That's one of the big reasons we are calling for his impeachment. And last night, when I was driving around, I was listening to a radio station, and they had an excerpt from a Andy Griffith show. And this Andy Griffith show, and you know, I'm 42 years old. I grew up watching Andy Griffith. It's one of the ways that I learned values. I'm from North Carolina, in fact, so that's one of the reasons I watched Andy Griffith. And Andy was talking to Opie. And Opie ran in, and he had this tape recorder. And people might not know, Andy was sheriff of the town. Opie had eavesdropped using the tape recorder on a prisoner and lawyer's conversation. So he came in saying, "Pa, I want you to listen to this tape recorder that I had." And he's like, "Where'd you get that from?" "Well, it's the prisoner." He said, "No, I can't listen to that." He's like, Why, Pa?" He said, "Well, I can't listen to that." "But Pa, the point is that, as we know, communication between a lawyer and the prisoner, their client, is private." And Andy was explaining this to his son. And he began to erase the tape. And Opie started to get upset. He said, no, son, I cannot listen to this because we're supposed to have due process. And he said, "Well, this will help the law." This is what Opie said. And Andy said, "The law doesn't need this kind of help." Okay? Now, that was a lesson that Andy taught his son that George Bush doesn't know. And that's what the United States is about, due process of law. And we need to impeach this president so we can get back on track and grow this country the way it should be. Thank you. Excuse me, the next person that will be speaking is an Iraq veteran who served in Iraq, Jeffrey Millard.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Millard, and I served in Iraq from October 2004 to October 2005. And some people may ask, if we're calling for impeachment, why didn't we do this in front of the White House, and why are we standing in front of the Capitol? Well, Congress has abrogated its responsibility to the United States for too many years, and now it's time for them to take responsibility. It's time for, I hear a lot of talk about the Iraqi people stepping up to the plate. No, it's time for Congress to step up to the plate. It's time for Congress to step up to the plate, take away funding for this war, make sure that we impeach the person who took us there against the Constitution, because it's the Congress that's supposed to declare war, not the President. And that makes this war, on that grounds alone, unconstitutional. But also, the fact of the matter remains is that until there's a comprehensive GI Bill to take care of us when we come home, then they're killing us on the front end funding the war, and they're killing us on the back end when they're not taking care of us when we come home. Thank you.